Welcome. This is Charles Smith. My name is Charles Smith, and these are short videos where I offer practical advice from a mentoring perspective on how to be better in your professional career. I've had success as a mentor both in the military and in corporate America, and I've helped people navigate through difficult situations in their professional career. And my hope is to do the same thing for you through these videos. So the topic for this inaugural mentor talk is a topic of balance. So if you have a car, you know that one of the maintenance tasks you have to perform or have your mechanic perform every so often is having your tires balanced. And the reasons you have to have your tires balanced is because if the wear and tear on the tires is uneven, it can cause premature damage to the tires, i.e. one tire or one side of the car may wear out faster than the other, and that can cause things like, for example, the tire to go flat or maybe even fail kind of explosively to where either you're on the side of the road stranded or worst case scenario, you're in a wreck. So car mechanics, and as a car owner, you should and probably do go through great lengths to make sure that your car, the tires are balanced. In the same way, we have to make sure that our lives are balanced as well. There are a lot of people who are living in what we call imbalance, either that they work too hard, they're called workaholics, or then there are some that maybe don't work hard enough and they're referred to as lazy. But what they have in common is that because they are both on the extremes of imbalance, there's a lot of issues that are caused there. And there are studies that have shown that there are health issues from working too much. There's also health issues from being sedentary. So imbalance in any form, whether it's perceived positive or negative or whatever extreme, it causes a lot of issues. So the goal tonight is to basically help you to understand some simple ways to be balanced. Okay. Most of the balance issues that we have, it's about balancing between our professional and our personal lives. Most people have jobs that they enjoy. If they don't enjoy them, they're at least a job that brings home a paycheck, which is very important. And there's motivation to do well at that job, i.e. you want to keep the job, first of all, but you also probably want to advance in your career as well. But you also want to do well in your personal life, whether it's your relationships, marriage, with children, with friends and others. And sometimes people have a hard time finding balance in between those. There are those that put work first and they're working 12, 15, 16 hours a day, and their professional career may be going well, but they have no social life, and therefore they're imbalanced that way. At the same time, there are people who have a great social life, lots of friends, but their career is not going anywhere because they're too focused on entertaining, too focused on being buddy-buddy with people. So both of them are very, very bad. So the key is to have balance to where you're doing well in your personal career and you're doing well in your professional career also. So I want to offer a few quick tips on how I think what the best way of doing that is. Number one, I think that you have to figure out what your imbalances are. Every mechanic, before they balance the tires on your car, they will run a diagnostic to see where the imbalances are, what side of the car, which tire it is. And in the same way, you can kind of run a life diagnostic to figure out where your imbalances are in life. Do you work too much? Do you party too hard? Are you not focusing enough on work? Are you taking work too seriously? You have to kind of figure out where those imbalances are. And the reality is a lot of them are pretty obvious. While some jobs require you to work 12 or more hours a day, a lot of jobs are not like that. And so if you're staying at work for an excessive amount of time, that's probably an imbalance. On the flip side, if you're partying or going to the club every single night or doing social stuff every single night, but your job is kind of stagnant or you're not going to school to advance your career, that's an imbalance too. So some of the stuff, if you're really honest with yourself, will be quite obvious. And so you have to look for what those imbalances are. Number two, you have to look for realistic compromise. And understand that you have to understand what your goals are professionally and personally, and then begin to look at, okay, is it possible to compromise between the two? There are cases where your professional goals and your personal goals can kind of line up, and you're able to do both and do both very well at the exact level you want to do them. Sometimes, though, what it is you have to really compromise. And so you have to figure out what's important to you. You know, there are people who all they want in their life is a successful career. They don't want family. They want to just be successful. Okay, well, there's some things they have to do in that. There's some people that want balance. They want a family and career. What you have to do, though, is understand basically what the realistic compromises are. All right. For example, if you want to be want to gain rank or want to gain position in your if you want to gain position in your professional career while having a family, there are things that you can do to do that, but it's going to take some compromise. You know, those who don't work might be able to spend longer time at work. You with a family probably can't do that. But what you have to do is make the time that you have at work much more productive. So that's just one example of how it's important to find those compromises. Then you have to sometimes make hard choices. Okay, and this is when there's compromises and when they're not. Sometimes there is no compromise and a hard choice has to be made. And you have to understand that, you know, for the goals you want, the choice you have to make may not be an easy one, or it may be easier, but it might not be popular. So the key is to understand that whether there's a compromise there or whether there's not, it's important to make the hard choices. Okay. So for example, an example in my life, when I was at Tuskegee, my first 3 years there, I was majoring in aerospace science engineering. I was in the Air Force ROTC program. And I was also in the Golden Voices concert choir. Freshman year was pretty easy, not as much time needed for that, but as time went on, it got busier and busier and harder and harder and harder. And I had to eventually make a decision going into my fourth year, knowing that I was potentially going to be in a higher position in choir. I knew I was going to be in a higher position in ROTC, and my major was getting harder. I had to make a decision about what to do. And so I thought long and hard about it as far as what my career goals were. And for me personally, I had to make a decision to leave choir. It was hard because I'd been there 3 years, made a lot of friends, still people I'm friends with to this day. But for me professionally, I knew that Air Force ROTC was going to lead to me getting a job in less than 2 years. With my major being an engineer, I knew that it would be good both in the Air Force and out of the Air Force. If I decided to get out or go to the Air Force Reserves. And so I knew that my focus needed to be on the Air Force and on that kind of thing. So I had to make the decision to leave the choir. It was tough, but it was the right one. Almost, I think, 16 years later, doing well both in corporate America with my engineering degree and doing well in the Air Force Reserve, still making right. So I made the right choice. So in closing, balance is important. And I'm here to tell you by experience that it is possible to do well in your professional career and in your personal career. I've been a professional now, military and corporate sector for about 17 years now. I've been married for 15 years. So, and marriage is going good, and so the job is going good as well. So it is possible to do it, and balance is very, very important. Look, thank you for viewing this video. You can follow me on my social media accounts, Facebook, Charles Smith Mentor Talk, Twitter @CS Mentor Talk, Instagram, CS Mentor Talk, and the YouTube channel, Charles Smith Mentor Talk. Thanks so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.